Hello, boys and girls. Today we are going to introduce fractions in relation to shapes and other real-world examples. Fractions are used to show a part of a whole. In this example, we have two equal parts or halves of a rectangle and a complete rectangle that represents a whole. If we were to represent the part as a fraction, we would write 1 over 2, as the 1 would represent the part and the 2 would represent the whole. So let's look closer at that number 1 over 2. So as mentioned before, that 1 represents a part. Another word for this part is numerator. The numerator is the number that goes on top of a fraction. The number that goes on the bottom, in this case 2, represents the whole. And another word that we use to represent the bottom number is denominator. And finally, the line that separates the numerator and the denominator is called the fraction bar. Do you notice anything different about these shapes? They are divided into 3 equal parts instead of 2. So the shaded area still represents one part, but it represents 1 over 3 because the whole is made up of 3 parts. Can you answer what fraction these images would represent? If you answered 1 over 4, you'd be correct. With these shapes, there are 4 equal parts, and the shaded area represents one of those equal parts. Now let's try representing fractions with equal wholes but different parts. So in other words, our denominator is going to remain the same, but our numerators are going to change. So let's start with 1 over 4. So if we look at the above rectangle, we have 4 equal parts, but we want to represent one of those equal parts. So we're only going to color in one of the 4 rectangles. Okay. So moving over to 2 over 4, again we have 4 equal parts, but we're representing 2 of the parts because we have the fraction 2 over 4, so we color in 2. For 3 over 4, I think you've guessed it, again we're representing 3 of the parts, so we color in 3 rectangles. So that represents 3/4 of the whole. And then finally 4/4, we would color in all 4 equal parts. Okay. So here the parts and the whole are the same, so we color in all 4. So why are fractions important? It's because we see fractions every day. We see them when we are cooking, when we are buying things, when we are eating our food, and even when we are playing with our food. So let's try a real-world example with fractions. What do these pictures have in common? Hopefully you noticed they were all fruit. Okay. So we have 1 orange, 2 2 bananas and 1 apple. Okay, so if we're thinking of fruit, in terms of total fruit, we have 4 items of fruit. So if we wanted to represent the oranges as a fraction of fruit, we would write 1 orange over 4 total fruit. Okay. If we wanted to do the same thing with bananas, we would say 2 bananas and 4 total fruit, so 2 bananas out of the 4 total fruit. And apples, 1 apple, 4 total fruit, so we can represent that as being 1 over 4. All right, in conclusion, fractions are all around us, so we have to be able to work with them. Let's try an activity to see what you've learned. Good luck!